is the virtual one, and we'll be having the in-person one tomorrow at the Novare Center in Wuse Zone 5. So without much ado, I want to welcome the National Chairman of the Association of Community Pharmacists of Nigeria, Pharmacist Wale Oladibolu, to give us an opening remark and of course to welcome everybody. So from Wale, over to you. Thank you, sir. You're welcome, sir.
All right. Thank you so very much, Pharmacist Amadi Chima. I really appreciate you. And I also appreciate what your organization is doing to bring a very important knowledge and skill to community pharmacy in Nigeria. We cannot overstate the fact that health commodities are unique in attributes, and most of the time they are lifesavers. And because they are lifesavers, we also need to get their logistics right. Patients have died in Nigeria just because community pharmacy cannot supply some medication. And then also because we have international audience, it is also good to mention the fact that there are some categories of drugs in Nigeria that are classified as orphan drugs. The supply chain of those orphan drugs have big issues that we as community pharmacists must attend to. What are orphan drugs? They are drugs that are seldom requested for, and therefore they do not have somebody who manages their supplies. And as a result, we classify them as service or orphan drugs. So that is important. More importantly is the fact that community pharmacy is a precision science with a huge commercial window. If we are precision science, that means we have to know our pharmaceutical care in and out. We have to know disease prevention and disease management in and out. But to be a successful community pharmacist, you must be very sure of your supply chain. That is where most people get it wrong. You could be excellent in pharmaceutical care. You could be excellent in disease management, disease prevention, and of a community pharmacy. But if you don't get the logistics right, it will be difficult to describe you as a successful community pharmacist. A friend of mine once asked me, in the next 20 years, if they want to describe you as a successful community pharmacist, what index will they use? And it is clear, if you don't get the economy of running a community pharmacy right, you cannot be described as a successful community pharmacist. And it's on this note to this program, all the community pharmacists who are on board, I welcome you. And I urge you to please sit back, relax, enjoy the course, take as much knowledge as possible, benefit from this free knowledge and skill sharing, and don't forget to hook up to the linkage that will be provided by this platform to local and international bodies that can aid us in supply chain management. Thank you so much, and God bless you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, our Honorable and our able National Chairman, for your wonderful opening remarks. Thank you so much. So before initially I mentioned, I forgot to mention, at the end of this program, we'll be giving our certificates, co-signed both by Clement.
Chima, I'm sorry to interrupt.
Oh, sorry, I was muted. So thank you so much, our National Chairman, for your wonderful introduction. Thank you so much, and thank you everyone once again. So a little bit of housekeeping, I forgot to mention it earlier on. We'll be issuing certificates of participation of training as well for this workshop. So please, if everybody can just put their names, full names, or the way you want your name to appear on the certificate on the chat box. So I'll be able to track them and then compile them. Then after the events for today, we'll be able to get on with that in terms of making certificates ready for everybody. I will dispatch it straight to you, maybe through your email. But also know that, like I said, we have 2 events today and tomorrow. So a different certificate for each day, because obviously the topic for tomorrow is quite different. So those who attended today will get certificates for today. Those who attended tomorrow will have certificate for tomorrow. Then those who attend both days obviously will have 2 certificates at the end of the day. So please just put down your names the way you want you to appear on certificates, and then we'll keep track of that. Then I also want to announce that those who, I know that this to be like a little bit of marathon. So those who stay till the end of this program will have a little bit of surprise for all of you. I'm not going to mention it now, but then those who stay to the end will also keep track of that as well. So thank you very much. Back to you, Nchedo, to continue with the moderation. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Chima. Thank you so much. Thank you, Famole. Thank you for that beautiful introduction. So we'll quickly go into the panel session. Yes, so I'll be introducing the facilitator. Famako, Monique, and then Mobike, Mobike, and then also Shannon, who will also be talking to us, and then be the keynote speaker for the panel session. So Famako, please, can I have you talk to us? You can unmute, or should we unmute you from our end? Okay, yeah.
Hello. Yes.
Famako, thank you. It's an honor to have you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Pharmacist Chima. Thank you, Nchedo. Thank you, Clermont Digital team, for this awesome opportunity. I'm very happy to be here. So if you permit me, Nchedo, can we go right ahead?
Yeah, sure.
All right. Okay, so good morning, good afternoon, and good evening from where you're joining us across the world. My name is Pharmacist Marco Mobiki. I'm a pharmacist, and I have years of experience in sales, product marketing, business development in the pharmaceutical industry. My experience so far has covered hospital practice, community practice, sales, marketing, distribution, and supply chain optimization. And amongst other projects, I think one unique project that qualifies me to facilitate this session is being honored, in particular, to lead the consortium that has innovated and improved access to safe and effective medicines for multiple state governments in Nigeria, which is a project that we are still working on. And today, without further ado, it's my special honor to be the moderator for this panel and facilitate this discussion. As a reminder, the theme for this conversation today is strengthening healthcare and pharma inventory management through logistics best practices. This theme was recommended by the attendees, and it's something that, even though it may not be unique to Nigeria, it's still an acute pain point for those of us that are practicing pharmacy in Nigeria. And there are a few facts highlighted that we can use as a background or history to get us started with this discussion. First one is that the WHO has rated Nigeria's health sector as number 187 out of 191 members of the WHO. And this rating is poor, of course, and is also due to lack of standard equipment and production, storage, and distribution of pharmaceutical services and products. As such, only a few of the pharmaceutical firms in Nigeria have the capacity to participate in supply, storage, and distribution of anti-malaria, anti-TB medications, antiretrovirals, and other pharmaceutical international tenders. So this means that almost 60% of the medications that we have available in Nigeria are imported from countries such as India and China. And it puts a very severe burden on our pharmacists to become supply chain experts, even down to the last mile. Also, fake, substandard, adulterated medicines have proliferated the Nigerian market, which is a big issue all along the supply chain. And it makes it very difficult for pharmacists in Nigeria to trust exactly which medicine that their patients are getting. So this forms a background for our discussion today. And I'm excited that beginning with this panel, the Pharma Summit 2022 is bringing together global subject matter experts in healthcare, supply chain solutions, and also Nigerian pharmacists that are here present to discuss these challenges. We will not try to get the solutions in one day, of course, or in one session, but it starts with this understanding and awareness of the problem and the possibilities moving forward. So we'll begin with introductions, and we are going to go from introductions to approximately 45 minutes of questions to the panel. They will open up an audience participatory section for about 20 minutes. And finally, Timothy will do a wrap-up and summary. And that's how this section today is going to go. So I would like all of us to keep our questions and our comments and our feedback to the chat section. We can have a vibrant engagement and discussion over there. You can also share your social media, LinkedIn links over there so that we can follow each other and get to connect even better during and after this panel discussion. So you can find our panelist bios in the Zoom link, very experienced and very senior panelists for this session. Our panel includes Shannon Demar. He's a director of the UPS healthcare product sector. He is a 24-year veteran at UPS, and his studies and career began in finance and marketing. He has spent the last 7 years forging UPS healthcare programs and products. Of course, it's not the easiest part, but he's breaking down internal and external barriers just to help UPS deliver what matters and to think about each package as a patient and not just a box. For a $90 billion global supply chain company, serving over 200 countries and almost 500,000 employees across the world, this healthcare emphasis has changed the way the world thinks about UPS. It's not just the brown truck company, thanks to people like Shannon, who is here present at this session. We have two other panelists from McCann, a UPS subsidiary that specializes in the logistics behind global clinical trials. Ludo Grandi is an Italian from Bologna, but is currently based in Germany, and Ludo is a regional manager for McCann's African region, and he's a subject matter expert, not only in logistics, but also in cold chain, project management, network development, client relations, and as a financial controller. From early days in Senegalese microfinancing through several years managing world courier operations in Africa and Middle East. And now currently at McCann for the last 2 years, he has demonstrated an apparent passion for the economic possibilities of logistics, healthcare in Africa. Our second panelist is Jean-Luc Tabiot from McCann. He is the Africa Network Manager based in France. With 14 years in logistics for the pharmaceutical industry, he is currently in charge of developing the McCann network, improving our quality of service at McCann, and setting up logistics facilities across the African continent. Before this, he was responsible for the network setup and logistics organization in France, such as the direct to patient and the direct from patient and cell and gen shipments. So to get to know McCann, the organization better, and I'll just like to give the mic, or pass the mic to our participants, our panelists from McCann, and get started with a brief introduction about the company before we go right deep into the panel section, questions and discussion. Thank you so much. And we'll hand over the mic to Ludo. Ludo, if you're here, are you here?
Good afternoon.
Hi, Ludo. Good afternoon.
Hi, Thank you very much for the invitation and the introduction.
Right.
Thanks as well to Kathleen and Shannon for inviting us. We're very humbled by this invitation and be here to share our knowledge with the participants. There's a presentation on what we do, but probably it's better to give a bit of a background or of where we come from. When I started working in this industry, I didn't have any background in logistics at all. And it was a learning curve. And throughout these years, I was privileged to be in contact with pharmacists, with sites in Africa and the Middle East. And I must say, every day there's a new lesson to learn. So the presentation will talk about how Marken supports the clinical trial sector in Africa and what interventions we have put in place to strengthen the capacity of the continent. So, am I to share the presentation? Or Mr. Mobike, who can facilitate that?
Tony, from Clemic, are you putting up the presentation?
Who wants to share?
Go ahead, Clemic team. You guys share the presentation. If you...
I'll go ahead.
Okay, thank you, Ludo.
I must have access to screen sharing, though, which the host has disabled.
That's true. Okay, host team, you have to share. We can't.
Give them access to screen sharing. Just hold on a little minute, please.
Okay.
No problem. All right, you should be able to see my screen.
Yes.
Yes.
Fantastic. Thank you very much. So before starting, we probably should give a bit of a background of what Marken does. So we are a full UPS subsidiary specialized in the clinical development of the pharmaceutical sector. We're supporting major investigators and sponsors to roll out the clinical stage of their products. And this happens all across the globe every day, including Africa. And Jean-Luc and myself are participating to this panel. I've been spearheading the initiatives to strengthen the capacity of our company and our clients in the continent. So, as a logistics company, we're really specialized in clinical trials, which means what we do is importing investigational products and shipping biological samples to central labs. We have our network of kitting that is in all continents, and we have a set of warehouses that are all GDP compliant, and our network of depots that are also GDP storage compliant. We handle temperatures from -190 degrees to up to 25 degrees with all our in-house packaging. And this panel couldn't be coming at a better time because we're in the midst of expanding our presence in Africa, and really excited to share the development with you. So here's a few key figures of Marken. So we have more than 120,000 shipments per year at all temperature ranges. We're around 1,900 employees all around the world. We support 93,000 investigator sites in 82 countries. And in Africa, We have recently expanded our presence from our traditional country that was South Africa into Kenya and Ghana. We handle in this region 35,000 shipments per year over 45 countries. This is a quick image of our facility in Johannesburg. This is another picture of our facility in Kenya and Ghana. I'll go as quick as possible so we can save time for questions later. So at Marken, we separate our activities in logistics and depot. It's two different divisions. We now have a strong presence in Africa in terms of logistics, whereby we have 3 hubs handling East, South, and West Africa, respectively, from Kenya, Johannesburg, and Accra. And that allows us to be as close as possible to the investigator sites, supplying all the material that is required upon the different pickups in main capital cities or as well as rural areas. And when we move into storage and GMP, we have our network either of in-house facilities or our partners' own facilities, but they all fall under the GMP certification. This is where we plan to expand in 2023, where we already have in last year, and this map is constantly being updated because we basically have constant communication with our clients and filter their needs into the territory that they are interested in serving. This is a snapshot of what a GMP area looks like in our network, where we have the goods in and out area, the different storage temperatures available with liquid nitrogen up to 228. We have pharmacists constantly in contact with authorities in the different countries where we have this service. So everything that is regulation is part of our daily activity. Here's some more pictures of one of our facilities in Frankfurt. And we put together also some case studies just to give a practical evidence of what we do on a daily basis. So we tailor our solutions based on the specificity of the product that needs to be moved. In this case, we have some charters that we operated from the UK into Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger with deliveries of generics. We're talking 8 to 10 pallets as average, where we load at origin. Our own flight then lands in the target destination, and our local teams take care of everything from clearance to final mile delivery with temperature controlled vehicles. Then this is a case of a clinical trial in COVID, where we picked up in a remote location in Ghana, then brought up samples in the capital and shipped out to New York. We have full visibility of every touch point of the transport with dry ice, in this case minus 80 degrees, is replenished whenever we have access to the shipment, in this case in Istanbul and New York. Sickle cell disease case from Kenya to Europe. And a vaccine delivery Africa to Africa from Nairobi to Bamako with our own pallet shipper, conditioned locally in Nairobi and delivered in a temperature controlled vehicle in Bamako. So I wanted to have this as quick as possible, just to give you an idea of what we do on a daily basis and what we plan on expanding in Africa. As Mr. Mobika was rightly saying, storage capacity is definitely one of the elements that requires more attention in the continent, and that's why we are very excited to be today in here. I'm actually talking to you from Nairobi, and talking to local stakeholders to make sure that our voice is heard and our solutions are delivered whenever